Premier Legault continuously say this is the law, this is what the majority of Quebecers want.
No.
As a hijabi yourself, do you feel like Quebec society doesn't accept you?
I remember distinctly in June 2019 when Bill 21 had passed. My heart fell to my stomach.
I keep seeing that picture.
Because in that very moment, I felt like the province in which I grew up in, the province that I love, La Belle Province, had rejected me and the people who look like me. And I don't want that for the next generations. It is unfair. Laws can be unfair. We've seen it through history. And that's why we're here today to put an end to an injustice.
And Premier Legault says, well, you know what? You're allowed to wear your religious symbols outside, just not acting as a civil servant.
But why?
As someone who wears the hijab, what would you say to that?
Go fuck yourself.
I have the Quebec identity and I have my Muslim identity.
Don't wash the tub?
They are not mutually exclusive.
I didn't say anything.
They encompass my whole being. You cannot ask me to compromise on one of my identities.
And, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says that he's still not opposed to trying to oppose this law, and Legault not liking that very much, saying, the federal should not get involved in, Quebec laws. What would you say to that?
Because I'm Canadian, motherfucker.
Our leaders have to listen to the people who elect them. They need to listen when we're saying that we don't want this law to continue. We want it abrogated. All the protests that happened throughout the province and in Canada have shown us that we do not agree with Bill 21. They need to lead by example.
And like 86% of people in Quebec, like even like hardcore like French Quebecois, whatever, are like, yeah, kind of this is a stupid waste of time and a waste of money, waste of resources, a waste of fucking everybody's fucking air. Like,
my face is.
It's a fucking dumbass conversation.
I can get glasses made just for me. Big.
She is given a party all by herself. Like everyone else, she thinks that her etiquette is perhaps not perfect, but good enough so that there are no glaring errors. She is proud of her table arrangement and thinks she deserves a word of congratulation. But the housekeeper must tell Betty she has noticed a few errors. A napkin is out of place. The butter knife belonged on the butter dish, not next to the meat. And a water glass. Small matters, but they are important when they show whether or not your habits of etiquette are correct. See if you notice right away when someone is incorrect or is definitely correct. Betty's confidence is shaken a bit, and she has doubts of her correctness. Should she have preceded her guests into the room? Is she directing them to their places properly? Should Betty have used place cards? The young man who is trying, too late, to assist Betty with her chair is Bob. It is his birthday that is being celebrated in this host. He's to feel at ease and just act as she always does. Notice Buttock's way of opening his napkin and put her in his belt. Could that be all right? Freddie and Helen seem quite certain of the way they open their napkins and place them in a half fold in their laps. They seem to be really at ease. But then everyone is more at ease now that the party has really started. The main thing is that they should enjoy each other's company. Betty and Bob aren't worrying about their mistakes for a moment, but in the back of their minds they realize they will have to pay more attention to their manners. They know that the object of correct etiquette is not to make life formal and dull, but to make it fully enjoyable. There are reasons for each act of etiquette, as in a man's assisting a lady with her chair, or the order with which people are...
It smells like bacon in here.
Bob is hungry, and the soup looks good.
Bob.
He is using his company manners, but as we see, he is doing at least 3 things wrong.
Hmm.
Now that the soup is served, Betty sees that the crackers are passed. Floyd passes the crackers to Dorothea before he helps himself. Should he have helped himself first or not? Bob is eating before the others. What about that? Okay.
No wonder fucking white people are so fucking uptight.
This after the Paris-based group says that global
And that's actually shit that my brain goes through constantly.
To an all-time high, over 10,000.
Am I upsetting this person? Is this person like fucking in a good mood?
Those emissions from coal had fallen in both 2019 and 2020.
I can't see.
Coal is the single largest.
My baby wants pets. Yeah, my little baby Gigi. And my Gigi. Yeah. Look at my Gigi over there. She's
The
all
Lake County
jealous.
family finally has answered.
My Gigi is all jealous, but my baby loves the pets.
Multiple issues. And it's irresponsible to have children, says the Green New Deal. It's irresponsible because the planet's going to be dead in 10 years. How many of you guys survived the planet being dead from the time you were in high school? Because I was told, crazy, little did I know, that they had done that over and over again. There was the ozone layer.
The protective ozone layer is being threatened as never before. We're all at risk.
They're coming after everybody's families, right? They're coming after everybody's reputations if you don't kowtow to what they want. They're coming after everybody's children.
God, I'm so fat.
Can you switch my yogurt, please?
Switch you over?
Switch my yogurt.
Oh,
Yeah.
kind of yogurt.
There's only one there. Should we at the bottom? No? Ugh. Really? Never mind then.
I think that's the last one.
No, I know there's another one. Mm. Okay, bring me that one then. Cameron,
There's no other yogurt in here.
just bring me that one.
Try to do something nice.
Yeah, but... Yeah, I know. I'm the devil, it's fine.
You just want me to work me to the grave. There you go, baby. I got Jack Dog food. I got well, cats and chicken dinner. Everything's fine. I'm gonna wash the bathroom for you. I'm gonna make you a bubble bath.
Yeah, later.
You don't want a bubble bath?
Later.
Yeah.
Fuck. What? What? I know, Jack. Oh my god. Ramsey, I swear to God, fucking drop people across the room. Mm-hmm.
Great job. Kind of.
With MailChimp, you can guide customers along the path to purchase with our Customer Journey Builder.
I'm Shilan. I'm 43 years old. I am a mom and a real estate agent.
Those are two things that are not hard to be. And that should not need awards and praise.
Sit on your bed one day and ask yourself, what remarkably stupid things am I doing on a regular basis to absolutely screw up my life? And if you actually ask that question, but you have to want to know the answer, right? Because that's actually what asking the question means. It doesn't mean just mouthing the words. It means you have to decide that you want to know. You'll figure that out so fast it'll make your hair curl. There's no better pathway to self-realization and the ennoblement of being than to posit the highest good that you can conceive of and commit yourself to it. And then you might also ask yourself, and this is definitely worth asking, is do you really have anything better to do? And if you don't, well, why would you do anything else? If you orient yourself properly and then pay attention to what you do every day, that works. And I actually think that that's in accordance with what we have come to understand about human perception, because what happens is that the world shifts itself around your aim. Because you're a creature that has an aim. You have to have an aim in order to do something. You're an aiming creature. You look at a point and you move towards it. It's built right into you. And so you have an aim. Well, let's say your aim is the highest possible aim. Well, then so that sets up the world around you. it organizes all of your perceptions. It organizes what you see and you don't see. It organizes your emotions and your motivations. So you organize yourself around that aim, and then what happens is the day manifests itself as a set of challenges and problems, and if you solve them properly, then you stay on the pathway towards that aim, and you can concentrate on the day. And so that way you get to have your cake and eat it too, because you can point into the distance, the far distance, and you can live in the day. And it seems to me that makes every moment of the day supercharged with meaning. That's how, because if everything that you're doing every day is related to the highest possible aim that you can conceptualize, well, that's the very definition of the meaning that would sustain you in your life. Well, and then the issue is, well, back to Noah. Well, all hell's about to break loose and chaos is coming. It's like when that's happening in your life, you might want to be doing something that you regard as truly worthwhile. Because that's what will keep you afloat when everything is flooded. And you don't want to wait until the flood comes to start doing that, because if your ark's half built and you don't know how to captain it, the probability is very high that you'll drown. Ask and it shall be given you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. That sounds very optimistic again. But again, I think it's a description of the structure of existential reality. And by which I mean, when I'm in my clinical practice and I observe, and this is also the case with my students, is let's say, people's lives aren't what they would like them to be. And so then you ask, why? Well, forget about tragedy and catastrophe, because that's self-evident, and we're not going to discuss that. Although the degree to which you bring about your own tragedy is always indeterminate. I would never say that every terrible thing that is visited on a person is something they deserve. I think that that's a very dangerous presupposition, especially because everyone gets sick and everyone dies. But one of the main reasons that people don't get what they want is because they don't actually figure out what it is. And the probability that you're going to get what would be good for you, let's say, which would even be better than what you want, right? Because you might be wrong about what you want easily. But maybe you could get what would really be good for you. Well, why don't you? Well, because you don't try. You don't think, okay, here's what I would like if I could have it. And I don't mean in a way that you manipulate the world to force it to deliver you goods for status or something like that. That isn't what I mean. I mean something like, imagine that you were taking care of yourself like you were someone you actually cared for. And then you thought, okay, I'm caring for this person. I would like things to go as well for them as possible. What would their life have to be like in order for that to be the case? Well, people don't do that. They don't sit down and think, all right, let's figure it out. You've got a life. It's hard, obviously. It's like 3 years from now, you can have what you need. You got to be careful about it. You can't have everything. You can have what would be good for you, but you have to figure out what it is, and then you have to aim at it. Well, my experience with people has been is if they figure out what it is that would be good for them, and then they aim at it, then they get it. And it's strange because they don't it's a strange thing. It's not quite that simple because you may formulate an idea about what would be good for you, and then you take 10 steps towards that, and you find out that your formulation was very off, and so you have to reformulate your goal. You're like this as you move towards the goal. But a huge part of the reason that people fail is because they don't ever set up the criteria for success. And so since success is a very narrow line and very unlikely, the probability that you're going to stumble on it randomly is 0. And so there's a proposition here, and the proposition is, if you actually want something, you can have it. Now, the question then would be, well, what do you mean by actually want? And the answer is that you reorient your life in every possible way to make the probability that that will occur as certain as possible. And that's a sacrificial idea, right? It's like, you don't get everything. Obviously. But maybe you can...
I've had the great pleasure of visiting the most beautiful natural hidden gems of this earth, and I hope that our generations to come also get to experience the natural wonders of the world. And I'm proud to partner with MasterCard to shine light on this very real threat to our planet.
MasterCard has this great initiative where they're working with NGOs to plant 100 million trees. Join us in taking action.
Now let's start something priceless.
Yeah.
One of the powers of innocence is the ability to have a world that is safe to be able to play and experiment in without the threat of danger. What happens with pornography or when sexuality intrudes through any form of violation is you all of a sudden realize there's a parallel world next to yours, and that if you walk through this door, nothing will ever be the same.
The fuck
I
is
remember
this?
being a kid and looking at a rosebud and thinking how pretty it was.
I can eat off that toilet.
And I remember thinking, oh, well, I want it to open up like a
Wanna
rose.
wash a
So
dog
I'll
tomato?
just pull back the petals.
Fucking
and it'll open up
bitch.
a really beautiful
This
rose.
is fucked up.
Now I realize you can't force that.
Raised on
That
porn?
happens when that flower is ready to open and when
What?
it's being fed and nurtured and it opens. And it's very similar to a child's or adolescent's sexuality. You know, if you try to open those petals too early, I mean, they will grow and they will open, but they're going to be damaged. They're not going to be the same person that they would have been.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, look, it's me. I had sex when I was 5.
Big Bubba, big baby, big baby. Growing up, my dad planted a church in a small rural town.
Can't.
Everyone
Nope.
knows everyone.
You lost me. I was like half willing to listen, and then you started it with my dad and church.